I'm Dr. Anastasia Chopelas, the scientific healer, and today what I'm going to talk about is what's been going on behind the scenes with working with my husband, who 2 weeks ago had a heart attack and was taken to the hospital. And then 2 days later, he actually died and was brought back to life by the amazing hospital staff while he was there. So what happened is that my husband spent 40 years of his life 80 pounds overweight and 20 years of his life smoking heavily. So that took its toll on his body. And I don't think he would have lived much longer. We re-met. I met him when we were both 16, and we re-met a little more than 5 years ago. And actually, the 5th anniversary of our reconnection was the date of his heart attack. And so what happened during that time is that he lost the 80 pounds and he was able to go off most of his medications, if not all of them. And everything was looking normal, and he was walking 5 miles a day and really staying and keeping in a healthy lifestyle. It's just that he does not do heavy exercise like I have done for basically more than 50 years. So the fact that he survived that is actually quite a miracle. And later, his cardiologist told him that the kind of thing that happened to him, where for 10 minutes they couldn't get his heartbeat and his pulse back, meant that if he had had it at home, if that had happened at home, and I knew that this would have been the case, if it had happened at home, his chances of survival would have been under 20%, more like 17%. And that he had it in the hospital, which to me was really good that he had it there, was that his chances of survival were less than 50%. And it took 4 shocks to get with the paddles. It took 4 shocks to get him back. And then the thing that they discovered was that his kidneys were also in poor condition, and they couldn't do any angiogram or anything for quite a number of days in the hospital, because the dyes would damage his kidneys further, and they wanted to protect him. So he had open heart surgery and 4 bypasses on Friday, and that went very, very smoothly. And as a matter of fact, he came out of it. And if you've been following any of my emails and any of my, requests for healing and requests for prayer, you would have known that this has been happening. And the amazing thing is that after him going through all of that, was that he came out of the surgery really, really well. And the doctors were actually quite amazed at how quickly he recovered and how quickly his kidneys recovered. So the thing is that I got questioned. Of course, the other thing I really appreciate is, I've gotten hundreds of emails and messages and phone texts, and I have not been able to answer all of you, but I really, really appreciate the prayers and also the notes on the Facebook posts that I've made. Is that I really appreciate that. And I also appreciate that many people have also considered me, because, for me, it was very stressful going back and forth to the hospital a lot, not knowing what his fate would be, and trying to keep up some semblance of work. And people would ask me, how can you do that? And the thing is that one of the problems with having this happen to you is that if you sit still too long and you start contemplating what's happening in your life, then that those thoughts start taking over. By keeping a regular activities, like I kept my exercise up and I kept my diet up. I even lost a couple of pounds in the process, and it's on purpose. I'm really trying to get back to my former slim self. But so I've kept up all of my activities and had another one thrown on top. My daughter now has a full-time job and she works many weekends, and I've been picking up the slack on the babysitting, which is also no small feat because he's a very active little 3-year-old, and he just demands a lot of attention. He's an extrovert and he just needs that constant conversation and constant activity. So on top of, going back and forth to the hospital and, dealing with all the relatives that are calling me, he has 3 siblings, and he has also a set of former in-laws that view him as part of the family, and keeping them comforted. He has also a son and a daughter-in-law. So staying connected with all these people to assure them that everything is going smoothly has also been a big effort for me. That's not part of my normal routine, which is also very full every day, as you might imagine. So one of the things that I really learned during this process is how it's not my responsibility. And people asked me, did I want my husband to live? And that was a really difficult question to answer, because I would not want him to live as compromised as he could have been. There is apparently no effect on his cognitive abilities. When I spoke with him, he's still all there. He didn't lose any memory of anything during this whole process, which happens actually quite often. And when people have gone into some sort of defibrillation or cardiac arrhythmia like he had, there's a noticeable decline in cognitive function. And as a matter of fact, his cognitive function is better than it was when I met him 5 years ago. And he is a brilliant guy. He's super intelligent, and he's always solving problems, and he's always looking to answer questions and puzzle through things, and really, especially in the computer world where there's a lot of difficulties, he solves them very quickly, and I'm happy that he has them. But if he didn't, and he would have been a vegetable connected to a bunch of tubes and being kept alive artificially, that would not be my wish for him, and I don't think that would have been his wish for himself. So asking if I wanted him to live, well, of course I did, but this is always a qualified question. And I know that in the last year of my mom's life, she did not want to be alive in the condition that she was in. And fortunately, as cognitive decline drops rapidly, for her, she was in full dementia by the time she died. She did not realize where she was. And she kind of vaguely knew who we all were. And the nice thing is that when I walked in the room, she would just flash this big smile of recognition and happiness. So I knew that somewhere in her heart that she was there. But I know that before that, she did not want to live like that. So I didn't want that for Noel either. I want him to come back fully and embrace his life fully. So when I asked for prayers from everybody, and we had whole organizations, whole churches, there were thousands of people across the country praying for him. And I know that made a difference because of the way the doctors were so blown away by how well he came out of his surgery and how well he's doing at the moment. So I realized during this time that I had taken on too much responsibility for him, and for actually all of my family members. And that was a lesson for me because that responsibility really weighed my shoulders down. And so this is a lesson for all healers to not take it on yourself to determine whether someone's going to live or die. So my prayer always was, please, God, let this be the best outcome that could be possible, right? So if the, the outcome to be the best for him, not for me, the best for him. So if he weren't going to come out of it very well, I would have rather to let him go. And if he were to come out fully functional like he is now, then this is the best outcome possible. And I took myself and my desires out of the equation. And it's hard to do. It really is, because I'd sit in the waiting room, or I'd go into the ICU and he's like all hooked up to stuff. And it was really hard to not have that empathic connection with him and feel what was going on in his body. That's the natural thing that I, as a healer and a healing type and a caring person, will do. So pulling yourself out and letting then spirit and God and all the prayer actually carry him through was what I had to do. And it felt actually really good letting that all go, and me not being the one that determines the result, because I'm not God. And all I can do is my part. And I felt like I've done my part, and that I also sent him healing energy into his life. So there that is. And there is the real big lesson for me was letting go of all that responsibility. So a lot of people will come to me and ask me to help their loved ones. And it's the loved ones that are the ones that really should be the ones requesting that kind of help, right? And it's them that needs to take responsibility for themselves. And if they can't, like if they're so far deep into dementia and they're 85 to 90 years old, it's really, we love our family members. We just love them, right? We don't want to be without them. We want to be able to hug them and hear their voices and feel them and, breathe in their essence, whatever it is. Like those are the things that I really, really, really miss about my mom, is, not being able to hug her and to hear her and to, even hear the breath going in and out of her nose while she's laying there, and, seeing her and being able to touch her and feel her warmth. All those things are things that I really miss. But the thing is that her essence is still with me. Like, she talks to me, and, she even told me she helped send Noel back to this side. And, a whole lot of people were there. So I know from talking to his brother, for example, and, he sent out messages to the organizations, to Christian organizations that he's in, and how they were all sending prayers and good wishes. And he posted, and I posted on Facebook and requested help. And, I said to him, wow, there's a lot of people, there we had the Unity Church, we had the Mormon Church, we had our church, we had all these people sending all these wishes. And it allowed me to let go of that responsibility and really make a difference. And when I told the nurse in the hospital that we had thousands of people praying for him, and they said, yes, they have, because this is the Little Company of Mary, this is a Christian church. And they said they know that it works. So all I can say is thank you, all of you, for helping him and for helping him recover. And I'm going to have him back, and I'm going to have him back for a lot of years. So that's all I have to say. For those of you that want to learn about the healing that I do, I put a link in the description there of what this is about. It's scientifichealer.com/energize me. The people that are in the program are loving the program. They are able, in the first couple, 3 months, are able to heal others. They are able to make a difference in other people's lives, and many of them have taken on paying clients even in the first couple, 3 months. I have one lady now, she lives in India, and she now has 3 or 4 clients working with her. And this is, I think, my mission on this planet, is to really teach people how to be in their bodies and be healthy, and then we can help others, because I had to take care of myself before I could take care of anybody else. It's the thing that they say is, put your own oxygen mask on first before you put it on your children. Well, that goes for everybody. You need to take care of yourself. And that was, for me, letting go of carrying that burden of responsibility. Because when I got first asked to help somebody come out of a coma, the enormity of that idea that I could actually make a difference it felt like this really huge responsibility. And now I know I don't have to take that on. And now I know, and this is 5 years of healing people every day. And now I've been teaching healing for the last couple of years, and now in a lengthy program. And I just love this group of ladies. We have about 15 or 16 now in the program. It's an intimate program where we meet once a week. And one of the meetings is in the month. One of the meetings is private with me, where you can get your own healing, or, talk to me about the healings that you're doing for other people. So I would be thrilled if more of you would join the program. We can save a lot of lives, including your own. Okay, that's all I have for today. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for listening. I really, really appreciate you. And I look forward to speaking with you next week. I will be more or less on a regular program because my husband is coming home this week. And I got told that if he asks for a glass of water, to make him get up and get it himself. So how's that for helping someone get better? Okay, I love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for watching. If you like this content, give it a thumbs up rating or a 5-star rating, share it with your friends, and be sure to subscribe to my channel. Now, I will see you next week in the next video.